Hey, I'm Dr. Dave. This is Microdose U, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've really ever talked about this topic, or at least in detail, like I'm going to do today. You see, people ask me all the time, can psilocybin actually make sex better? Can it wake up a stalled or a dormant love life? Can it give you that youthful feeling again? Can it increase your sex drive? Will it help you get aroused, whether you're a man or a woman? These are real questions. Now, here's the thing. Psilocybin has this way of, I'll say, quieting down the chatter in your brain, that little narrator that's always judging, worrying, comparing. And when that voice steps aside, what happens? You're more present, you're more connected. And intimacy is all about presence and connection. Now, I'm not saying that mushrooms are some type of magic bedroom pill, but there are a lot of studies out there suggesting that people feel, I would say, more open, more emotionally tuned in, less anxious, and more physically aware when they're microdosing or even when they're taking larger doses. And do you remember a few weeks ago I did that episode on paruresis, shy bladder syndrome, and how that ties into social and situational anxiety? Well, sexual performance oftentimes is a form of situational anxiety. When you're in your head, when you're worried about your performance, it can completely shut things down. But when mushrooms help to quiet that part of the brain, suddenly you're in the moment and not in your head. That's when connection happens. That's when intimacy feels real. Think about it. Like when you're not worried about how you look, how hard you are, how wet you are, or maybe even how hard and wet you are. When you're not second guessing yourself, you can just be there with your partner. Just let loose, be free. And that right there is where the best intimacy comes from. I've heard people tell me that microdosing seriously helped them relax in the bedroom. Others have said that in larger doses, they felt more connected to their partner than ever before, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Now, is that universal? Is it guaranteed? No. As I've told you this a million times when I've been talking about microdosing, everybody is different. But it's happening often enough that it's worth paying attention to. So here's the takeaway. Psilocybin isn't necessarily about having a better orgasm. It's about clearing the noise so intimacy and connection can actually flow. And I would say that is much more powerful. So I really hope this helps some of you out there. Let me know. Let me know if you have any more questions about this. I am absolutely not a sex counselor. I'm not even close. However, I do know quite a bit about psilocybin and its properties and how it can relax and how it can rewire the brain and how it can change so many things that you've been going through that you might think could be better. Psilocybin changes these things. Now, before we get into your microdosing questions and answers today, I just want to remind you that I have a brand new episode that comes out every Wednesday. And make sure you check show notes. Make sure you check my website, microdoseu.com. We've got a lot going on. And also the Patreon page, because our premium Patreon is, we're having such a good time. And we do live meetings now every 2 weeks. And they're phenomenal. Oftentimes I bring a special guest in. We talk about things that I just can't talk about on this show, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, here we go. Let's get into some questions and answers. And by the way, if you want to send me something, take questions on YouTube. People email me, dave@matto.com, Facebook Messenger, However you get a question to me, I'm going to try my best to answer it on the show here. So let's get right into question number one from at Mearpod. Dr. Dave, when you microdose at 8 a.m. on an empty stomach, how long do you wait until you can eat breakfast? A good question. No definite amount of time, but I would say probably give it at least 20 to 30 minutes for the microdose to start digesting, doing its thing, and then you can eat and you'll be totally fine after that. Now, having said that, do you have to microdose on an empty stomach? No, you don't have to. It will just take a little bit longer because the psilocybin, in order to digest into psilocin, it's competing with some other things in your stomach, so it just takes a little bit longer. But no, you don't absolutely have to. I do. I prefer to microdose on an empty stomach. But again, if you get queasy, if you feel a little nauseous, then just take it with food, and you're going to be totally fine as well. Next question from Bespokes Food. Is it normal to get a headache or dizziness after microdosing? I would say it's not normal. Normally doesn't happen. However, if it does, the first thing I think of is that you need to make sure you're drinking enough water. Make sure you hydrate because dehydration is a very, very I should say it the other way around. Getting headaches, and maybe even some dizziness, but mainly headaches, is pretty much a very common symptom of being dehydrated. So just make sure you're hydrating. I think in general, most of us don't drink enough water during the day. So when you're microdosing, double check that and make sure you're drinking plenty. And I think pretty sure you're going to be fine. Next question from Anxious Dad 83. Been microdosing for 2 weeks. My sleep's all over the place. Is this normal in the beginning or should I back off? Well, I am not positive because if you're microdosing in the morning, which maybe you should be, if you're so let's go back the other way. If you're microdosing before bed or close to bedtime, let's switch it and microdose in the morning. If you are microdosing in the morning and your sleep is off, you're not getting good night's sleep, you have a tough time falling asleep, you wake up in the middle of the night, whatever. Um, maybe back off just a little bit until you get more used to it. Then you can maybe pick it up to where it was. Also, please get checked out for sleep apnea. I know that you say it sounds like you didn't have any sleep problems until you started microdosing, but still, what it could be doing, it's causing your sleep apnea. I'm not saying you have it, but I think almost every adult should be checked for sleep apnea because it could be rearing its ugly head through the microdosing. I'm not really sure, but sleep apnea I know is a pretty dangerous thing, and a lot of people have it, and a lot of people are undiagnosed. I was one of them. So I really recommend, no matter what, getting checked out for sleep apnea. But let us know how it goes. Make sure you're microdosing in the morning. Back off if you feel you have to. Again, there's no magic number dose you have to take. So back off if you have to. See if that helps your sleep, and then we'll take it from there. Great question, and sorry about your sleep. I think we're gonna get this one. Next question from Wild Roots 22. I'm 61 and brand new to this. Am I too old to start, or can people my age still see benefits? Well, I will tell you this. I started microdosing when I was about 66 and I'm 70 now. So that probably alone should just answer your question. In my opinion, you're never too old to microdose. If you want to improve your life, you want to improve your mental health, if you want to improve your spirituality, whatever, your mind, many things, why would anybody be too old? Until the day we stop breathing, I think we can improve our lives. That's my opinion. Coaster Dude 02149. I have bad anxiety and PTSD here. Managed fine when I lived in Maine. I recently moved to Florida and can't get anything. I'm assuming you mean can't get the medicine. Thought about ordering mushroom edibles, but I'm scared of the laws. I feel hopeless right now. Okay, Coaster Dude, let's slow things down. Slow things down, first of all. Yes, I do understand in many areas it is illegal. It's not permitted by law. Some places it is legal or permitted by law, decriminalized. And I always say on every episode, and this gives me a great time to say it, please make sure if you are using psychedelics, magic mushrooms, or whatever they may be, make sure you're doing it in an area where it is legal or decriminalized. I don't want to see anybody get into trouble. Having said that, though, sometimes we just have to make a decision. Is our health, is our life, is our mental health more important than perhaps a law? And if you, now again, this is off the record, but I know it can't be off the record because I'm going public with this because a lot of people all over the world are seeing this and are listening to this. But sometimes we just have to do things that might not be exactly by the book, but as long as we're not harming anyone else, we have to make the decision if our mental health is more important than a law. And usually, and again, I can't take responsibility for this at all, but normally, if we're doing something like this in the privacy of our own home, it's extremely unlikely that anything is going to happen. We do talk again. We do talk more about sourcing safely on our Patreon, premium Patreon. I can't really go into anything more here. If you can understand that this is totally public, there are just certain things I can't say or choose not to say. But if you join us on our premium Patreon channel, the link is always in the show notes. We might be able to help you there. Again, we don't, Microdose U and we don't sell anything whatsoever. We're not involved in anything like that. But we do discuss it and we do help guide people to where they can safely acquire this medicine. Next question. This person did not even give a name. Dr. Dave, what type of lion's mane do you take? I think you shared this before, but I can't find it. Yeah, I did. I have shared it before. As a matter of fact, I have a bottle of my lion's mane, if you're watching YouTube, right in front of me here. I've been using the same brand. What brand? It's Double Wood Supplements. I've been using the same brand. It's grown in the United States, manufactured in the United States. I've been using the same brand for many years now. I happen to really like it. Are there a lot of different brands of lion's mane out there? Yes, there are. For those of you that don't even know what we're talking about, lion's mane is a totally legal mushroom. You can get it on Amazon. It's really good for cognitive function. I recommend it. I love it. Again, I've been using it for years. What I'm going to do is I've got a link in the show notes. And actually, what I did a very, very short time ago is I take about, I don't know how many, probably about 10 different types of supplements every single day. Supplements that I've researched, why they're good, why they're beneficial for me and for others. And what I did, I actually, to make it so easy, I opened up an Amazon storefront and you could just click on them right there. They're all there. And not only that, I put some other things in there, some other health products and things, even my journal, my pen that I use, I put them all in the storefront. So you could just go there and see that everything that I use, and I'm adding things often because people ask me these questions all the time. So how do you get there? The link is in the show notes, whether you're here on YouTube, whether you're here on Spotify, whether you're here on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening or watching. But the link is amazon.com/shop/microdose U. But if you don't memorize that, you don't worry. It's in the show notes. You just click on it and wham, it'll take you to my shop in Amazon. Buy away. Take a look to see what I use every single day and feel free to join me in purchasing these products. Okay, next question from Hopeful Hearts. How long before you actually feel the benefits of microdosing? Does it take days, weeks, months? And well, it depends. I mean, I know you don't want to hear this answer, but it really depends. Everybody is different. With me, I started feeling really good very quickly. Very soon after I started, within a day or two or three, like really, really soon. Other people, it does take more than that. It takes a few days, it takes a few weeks. Sometimes it even takes longer than that. It truly depends on the person. However, I will say this. It really does work. You just have to be patient. You can't be jumping around from one thing to the next. If this doesn't work overnight, you're on to the next thing. It's definitely not going to work in that case. You have to please believe, stick with it. It will work. And remember, if you're just not positive, if you're puzzled, you're not sure what to do, you want us to help you unravel what's going on, we do offer one-on-one personalized coaching here at Microdose U. Again, in the show notes for every podcast episode, as well as on my website, microdoseu.com. It's microdose with the letter U on the end of it.com. Next question here from DS Pivy 3106. Dr. Dave, you should try heroic dose for more knowledgeable videos. Well, I don't know. I mean, remember, you got to remember, this channel is called, or my show is called Microdose U. Microdose. Microdose means tiny doses, a small percentage of a very large heroic dose or a very large therapeutic dose over time that will pretty much give you the same benefits of the larger dose. I mean, I know people that have taken very large doses and they were fixed, or I'm going to put that in air quotes, they were fixed for a very short time and then they reverted back. And I have been a microdoser for many years now, and I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. It's not a placebo. It definitely works. It rewires your brain. So that's the path that I chose. Now, will I ever do a much larger dose just to kind of see? I mean, I've done larger doses, but I've never gone into the heroic dose category. But I've done larger doses for sure. I did enjoy them quite a bit. But again, this channel and what I teach is mainly about microdosing. So again, thanks for the thoughts there. I may choose to do it. If I do, I will let you know for sure. From Teresa Wallace 04H. You go, Dr. Dave. Hey, thanks a lot, Teresa. I really appreciate that. From Jan Ferry Axman 7268. I know, I love how I read these handles. Like it doesn't really mean that much. I could just say from another listener, but I really enjoy reading these handles here. Dr. Dave, thanks for sharing. Love that you end with appreciation for watchers. Sending love back. Super helpful. Jan Ferry Axman, I really appreciate that. And yes, what they're referring to is I do end every episode. Well, I'm not going to tell you. If you're brand new, you have to stick around to see how I end every single episode. So that'll give you a reason to stick around. Okay. The Wanderer. Your calm style makes me feel less alone with this stuff. Keep doing what you're doing, Dr. Dave. Thank you, Wanderer. I really appreciate that. And I really try to make every episode, I put my heart and my soul into every episode because I know that somewhere out there, somebody is watching or listening and you or somebody really need the help. You need the help. You need a helping hand. You need somebody to give you a hug, a virtual hug. But I'm here for you. This is why I do this every single week, a brand new podcast episode every Wednesday, because I feel you out there. I know that a lot of you are struggling. I was there. It was terrible. But through careful microdosing on a regular basis, it totally reversed everything for me. And I really do feel good every single day. Now, does that mean I don't have a day that I'm not feeling it? I'm not just feeling fantastic. I'm a human being like anybody else. Of course, I have fantastic days, which are most days, but I have some days where I feel like I'm like a little bit in a rut or something's going on. But again, the microdosing has changed every single thing for me. So I really do appreciate that comment. And I hope it's going to help you as much as it's helped me. Future Conqueror 47, sir, can I get your email? My answer is yes, you can. Next question. Okay, let me give it to you. You want to try to be funny there. It doesn't work sometimes. My email is simply dave@mado.com. DAVE at MADOW. And I want to stress again, check the show notes. It's always there. We've got some important links for you there in the show notes, and also on my website. You can always get in touch with me. That's not going to be a problem. You can always get in touch with me somehow, somewhere, somehow, some way. Okay, last question here from Straight Talker 92. Respectfully, isn't microdosing just avoiding the real work in therapy? I'm curious on your take. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I feel that the real work, well, okay, when you say the real work in therapy, I took that to mean talk therapy. And I don't really believe talk therapy is all that effective in many cases. Sometimes it may be. I don't want to there's a lot of great therapists out there, and I don't want to diss anybody, but look, I went through talk therapy with different therapists back when I was on the East Coast here in Utah, and it just, it's fun. I enjoyed it. It's fun talking to somebody. It's good talking to somebody, but it really didn't change me. Psilocybin, psychedelics truly rewire the brain. Now, is there work that has to go along with that when you're microdosing? Absolutely. And I've talked about that on many episodes and will continue to always talk about journaling, meditation, shadow work. There's so many things that we can do, or we should do, or we need to do alongside of the microdosing. However, is it just avoiding the real work? No, this is the real work. This is what we're doing. This is truly the real work. This is changing lives, rewiring brains, and I cannot even imagine having a better question to end this episode with. This is the real deal, guys. I truly appreciate you being here week in, week out. Again, I put so much into every episode, and I'm so glad you're here. If you've missed some episodes, go back into the back catalog. There's so many episodes there with great information that you might want to review, revisit, or if you missed them, go back and listen or watch wherever you are, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. We're kind of a lot of places, so just check us all out. I thank you for being with me today, and now we'll get to that, as I say at the end of every episode. And I honestly do mean it. And I talked about this on a very recent episode, why I do say this. I won't go into it again, other than I will say I do love you, and I'll see you on the next episode.